silly or feel childish or immature. It was a hopeful thing where you could look up at Saturn V with tears running down your face, and you'd be one of thousands. And I think we brought a little bit of that spirit of 1969 back to the Kennedy Center for this event. So it was a very special thing, and hope that we can keep up this collaboration of music and multimedia because it reaches people in so many myriad of ways that any one of the separate disciplines I don't think do as powerfully. And off we go. This was just an unforgettable event, and over the opening sequence of this, that's Moonwalk 1 that Duncan put together especially for this concert, and it's almost corny. I mean, the idea of programming 2001 fanfare from Zarathustra just makes, as a musician, you just, oh no, not that again. You just, but he actually did something very special. And when I went to NASA Television to see the footage that we were going to project, it puts a lump in your throat because it just seeing the people from 1969 looking up at the sky, seeing this rocket, this amazing semi-primitive thing doing something quite extraordinary, all to this music and cut so beautifully, cut very artistically, was quite magical. And this is just some excerpts from that as well. But great collaborators, great artists at NASA, and it's something that was the most surprising thing I discovered, having had this as my first dream before music, is to become an aerospace engineer in Orange County, California, where I'm from. And I would have been, I don't know, I wouldn't work for Rockwell anymore, would I? I'd be in Japan working for some subsidiary of Boeing, if I were lucky. And so from model rockets, it went to music and public school music and the Kennedy Center in one big inexplicable jump for me and to that stage. So hopefully we'll keep it up, and we'll help through everything we do in art and music and film to help people dream of Mars. Thank you so much.
See if we can't stop that. I'll leave that one there. That works for me. I'm going to speak very briefly. I appreciate all of my colleagues here. The art that you have shown is truly inspiring. I come at it from a slightly different perspective. I grew up as a child of the 60s in Central Florida. At that time, you couldn't help but be touched by the space program and by the wonderful missions that were going on. One of my lasting impressions as a child, 9 years old, is standing outside in Lakeland, in Winter Haven, Florida, 120 miles away from the Cape, feeling the Saturn V lift off before you saw it. It shook the whole state. Those rockets were amazing, and it left such an indelible mark in my psyche. And I've been surfing on Cocoa Beach before when the shuttle launches take place. And most people don't realize that Patrick's Air Force Base launches 4 fighters to follow the space shuttles up, and you don't see them until they go over your head when you're surfing. And that's quite an experience. So I've grown up and been in the space industry all of my life, being from Central Florida. I grew up as a trained artist. I've been painting since I was in 3rd grade. But shortly after high school and college, I was led into commercial art. I became a graphic designer, became an art director, and 20 years ago became a creative director working in print media. And being a creative director, you have the unique opportunity to meld and form words along with images. And yeah, we do it in the dirty business to sell things, but that's what all of this is about anyway. If we don't sell the message to the masses, then the masses don't get the picture. And whether it's car parts or lumber or going to Mars, it's all selling. It's all getting your point across using whatever media is available. I was offered the opportunity last November to go with Artemis and Chris for a maintenance mission out to MDRS. I got to install a toilet. It was a lot of fun. But one of the main things I wanted to go out there for was I knew that with my eye and my trusty Nikon, I'd been working with Chris and the Mars Society for about a year at that point in time, and I'd bank of images that I could use to sell the Mars Society to the general population with. And if you see the piece of art that's out in the lobby when you first walk in, the poster of the ad we did that was the next giant leap, we shot that the last day we were out there. A TV crew had come in to do some photography, and the actor wanted to be in the suit, so he got in the suit, and he's walking out there, and he's doing the pointing to Mars thing. And I'm shooting the heck out of this because I'm thinking, I can use this image. I can use this image to sell. I went back out to MDRS at 4:30 the next morning. I was supposed to leave Saturday. I went out 4:30 Saturday morning, and I set my camera up at about a 25 or 30-second long exposure, and that picture became the cover of the first Mars Quarterly because it was that starry night background, blue glow, and MDRS there in the foreground, and it really drove home the loneliness and the desolation of that piece out there. And it's one of my favorite photographs to this day that I've shot. I appreciate the work that Mr. Carroll did that I dirtied up several times on the brochure, on the cover, on various ads. I told him earlier yesterday how much I appreciated that piece of art because it gave me the building blocks that I could pour all the ugly stuff on about what time this convention was taking place and where it was taking place so that all of you could see to come to join us at it. And if we'd have done that piece, if we'd have produced all of those things on a white piece of paper, it wouldn't have been nearly as inspiring. You would have gotten that mailer and gone, it's another mailing from the Mars Society. But it had this inspiring piece of art on it. And that is what we need in the commercial realm as an advertising agency. That's what I need to sell it, to get the point across that this is where we want to go and to build that excitement level. And I think that that is the bottom line of what all of us have been discussing and what we can bring forward is it's through the imagination of the art that we can go to Mars. I've seen all of the presentations that all of the scientists have made, and they've had some really nice graphics to them. And I'm thinking to myself, they get it. You can't just have a black screen with white type to sell this stuff. You have to have the pretty pictures and the neat art and the great movies and the great animation and the great paintings to inspire the masses, to inspire Joe the plumber to want to get behind a mission to Mars. And that's really what we're all trying to do. Thank you all very much.
This is really a Renaissance panel. The talent here is humbling. I have been inspired to ask all kinds of questions, but instead I would rather open it to the floor. We have time for about 3 questions, and I'd like for you to have the opportunity to ask those. We need to end up at about 3. So. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know if that commemorative show about the moon landing is available on the net. Can we see that?
I wish it were. There's a little clip on YouTube. We had NASA television tape, I think they could tape 3 minutes because of my union. I'm afraid. That's why you don't see classical orchestras on television like you used to, or classical anything. If you look up symphony on YouTube, you wind up with the first 5 hits are like a rock band called Symphony. But you can see part of this on NASA television, and you can see part of it on YouTube if you put
there's a NASA channel.
National Symphony Orchestra?
Yeah, or you can just put in NASA channel on YouTube. Just do a Google search. Just do a search on YouTube.
But not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
possible.
Actually,
No.
Bert and I are going. NASA won an Emmy Award, and he's going to Los Angeles on later this month. I'm going to meet him there, and we're hopefully going to meet with some people involved in film and at the Bowl to try to turn this evening into a whole big evening. It was one thing without intermission. We want to make it into a whole evening just complete by itself, because this is one of the best ways, I mean, aside from getting people interested in music or being entertaining, of leaving with something with great substance, of looking to the future and what you can do in space exploration and not thinking of dollars and cents or even machinery per se, of like why do we want to do this?